What's up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being, and you guys already know what this is about to be. It's kind of like, the meet recap / let you know what's coming up next / the plans for the channel. The usual thing that I do after I go through like a powerlifting meet, especially since like all my videos pretty much for the past 9-10 weeks or so have pretty much been meat focused, even though I've still been putting informative content in there, explaining the why behind everything I'm doing, just kind of like transitioning back into the usual swing of things. So first of all, starting with the meet, and I didn't really touch on all this at the end of the meet video itself, just because my boy Mark had drove 7 hours just to get down here. He knew he had to drive about 6-7 hours to get back, and plus that you're trying to still in the heat of the moment of everything that was going on and stuff like that. So the first thing is that I fully understand and acknowledge that there's just certain factors with this meet that I had no control over. Things like it starting 30 minutes later than what it was supposed to. Things like I was only able to do 3 or 4 of my usual 7 to 8 warm-ups leading up to squats, just because it kept moving us from room to room. Because somebody called the fire marshal for whatever reason. I guess there's too many people in the training room, or how are they went about doing that. And other things there's 4 flights on my platforms. That's even more time between lifting sessions, then 30-minute breaks between the squat and the bench. Just things are kind of outside my control. Things like that rack height, which really sucked. But rather than focusing on that and complaining about the facts that I can't control. Not to say that it doesn't make a huge impact. I'm not doing it to make excuses, but the reality is, you guys already know, the whole series is about overcoming, because I've dealt with so many different things in the off season, concussion and losing weight due to that, food poisoning and losing weight again due to that, along with just a bunch of other life stresses that I've kind of touched on in the previous episodes that I really don't feel like recapping right now. But this was kind of the past 6 months have been really rough for me. But I wanted to come in and show you guys that I could overcome regardless. But the reality is to have so many factors set up perfectly with my sleep, my eating, my training, the way I was going about programming, doing all of that, just to even be good enough to go to the meet, and then have the meet not being ran well. I just wasn't set up for a good day to begin with. But I still want to focus on the things that I do have control over, and the things that I definitely could have done better regardless. Things like the fact that okay, you guys already know leverage wise and build wise, I'm not exactly built ultimately for powerlifting, but I've always found ways to work around that. And I feel like I kind of with this prep slacked on that more. I wasn't just as technical as I could have been with certain things. I was being technical, definitely compared to the average the average powerlifter, but not as technical as I usually am. I wasn't striving for just perfection. I was trying to get in there, move the loads I need to move, and move it as well as I could with decent form, instead of really going in there and trying to perfect my form, perfect my technique, because I'm all about technique and positioning. I have to be. I'm not a tank. I'm not a brute. If I lose positioning on the squat, it's going to throw me off. If I lose positioning on the deadlift, or if I twist even a little bit, or if I don't get that slack fully out the bar, then it's, you guys you saw that second attempt, that 5-6-2 deadlift, I'm not going to be able to fully lock it out the way I need to. So that's one thing that I definitely am going to be working on this offseason, is just being even more technical, really trying to break everything down, looking at every single weakness that I have, and regardless if it's a weakness due to just not something I'm not working on, or it being something that's natural to my build, really finding ways to work around it and to improve and to do better. Not being as heavy as what I could have been. Like I told you guys, even though I went to bed on 0.5 pounds under my weight class before weigh-ins, when I woke up, I literally was 3 or 4 pounds under. Then when I actually weighed in after using the bathroom, I weighed at 159. The top of the weight class was 165. And the reality is, it was a 24-hour weigh, and I had a whole day to just eat, and really try to just come in a little bit heavier, because mass moves mass. That would have helped me, but I didn't. So I also want to just focus on building, getting stronger. I've already told you guys, and to get stronger, you have to get bigger as well. So I am now at the point where, even though I've never had to water cut for a meet before, I want to be at that point where I do have to. So I want to start walking around 170 pounds at least, so I can just be building in these off seasons and kind of make up for things like the smaller joints, the longer leverages, with just overall more muscle mass. That's why I've been able to do so well with my bench press, despite long arms compared to my torso. Putting the mass on, just become really technically proficient with the bench press, and I have to do that same thing with the squats and the deadlifts. Even though deadlifts went really well during this prep, and that's the thing, I don't want to take away from that either. During this prep, I hit some insanely huge just PRs, both weight PRs, or hitting a certain amount of weight for a certain amount of reps PRs, or just hitting a certain amount of weight at lower RPE PRs, on all the lifts across the board. So it's not to take away from that. I still did what I wanted to do with this meet, as far as building up a better baseline so that I can build into my next meet. But that's what I'm pretty much going to be doing, guys, for probably the next 6 months or so, is really just focusing on building. Like I just chalk up this meet to like, you know, like it was definitely an L. It was definitely a loss, but it was also an L in the sense of it was a learning experience. I learned certain things that play a huge difference. Like next time I got to be adamant about things about like my rack height. I had my rack height too higher than what it should have been. Like that really threw me off. And then like I said, just being on top of things like technique, being on top of things like make sure I'm actually like as heavy as what I can possibly be on the platform and not slacking on that. And the reality is I still learned a whole lot about myself and my body during this prep, and like learned the benefits of like, you know, the 9 to 11 hours of sleep, even though that's really hard to schedule, which I'm probably going to pull back on that a little bit just so I can have more time to dedicate to things like more videos a week instead of like, you guys know that when I first started this channel, I had the time to do like, you know, 3 to 5 videos a week. Then it became more like 2 to 3. And then for this prep, because of how I had everything scheduled with sleep, working with clients, everything like that, I was only doing like 1 video a week. So we're definitely gonna go back and try to get like 2 to 3 videos out a week. Definitely get more of those more informative, focused videos out, because that is always gonna be the purpose of this channel. And then just kind of taking you guys through what I'm doing as far as like, you know, my training, how I'm gonna be building, what I'm leading up to for like the next 6 months until I compete again. And that's pretty much it all I want to say right now. I'm actually about to check out this Airbnb, leave San Antonio, head back to the Fort Worth area. So the next time you guys see me during this video is probably going to be Tuesday. Like I'm resting today, which is Sunday. I'm resting Monday, and then I'm getting back in it on Tuesday. Like I said, you guys can see kind of what I talked about before, but like, hey, people's biggest issue with the meet is they don't build off their baseline. They kind of like take a long time off during the meet, or they go right back into things and they go in too hard. So I'll be showing you guys like how I transition back into like, you know, off-season style training, so that way you guys who are powerlifters know how to go about doing that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk to you about right now. So in the meantime, I will see you guys when I'm back in Fort Worth. All right, guys, so we are back in Fort Worth, home at the crib. Feels so good to be home. And it is currently Tuesday. So like I said, I rested Sunday, I rested Monday, and now it's time to get right back into it. Brendan actually sent me my new block last night. I'm actually gonna have a screenshot of like what week 1 of the new block looks like. I'm gonna let that come up on screen right now. And it's okay if you guys, like, you know, if you didn't take the time to actually, like, you know, pause and look at it, or if it was, like, kind of hard to read because it's, like, small or whatever, because I'm going to be taking you guys through each day, starting with today. Now, you guys already know, like, technically my day 1 and day 2 are, like, my 2 heavier days are on Saturday and Sunday, but what I'm going to be doing is just taking you through the days, like, you know, as we go starting today. So I'll take you through today Tuesday, tomorrow Wednesday, Thursday, I rest Friday, then I'll take you through Saturday and Sunday as well. But the reason I kind of wanted to, put that up on screen, and aside from taking you guys through like, you know, each individual day, you know, explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing, the sets and the reps, all that good jazz, I'm also gonna be taking you guys through like what my new dynamic work and mobility work is. Probably not during this video, because I'm probably just gonna be showing you like, you know, what today's workout looks like and just diving right into it. So the video's not too long. It's probably already longer than what I want it to be already, but the reason I wanted to show you guys that, and I'm going to actually like read through so you guys can see, is I want you guys to pay attention like to the movements for each day. So today we have comp squat, sumo deadlift, Larson press, and then Romanian deadlifts. Tomorrow is more of like a higher one, like accessory work type day. We have lat pull downs, seated cable rows, TRXYs, face pulls, and a curl superset with a push down of choice. Then Thursdays is going to be high bar squats, tempo bench press, single limb stationary Romanian deadlift, Bulgarian split squats, pull-off press, and then a mobility circuit. Then I'll be, you know, resting Friday. Then Saturday is pause squats, beltless deadlifts, and comp bench press. And then Sunday is going to be bench press, rows, one-arm lat pull-downs, Bulgarian split squats, upside down kettlebell press, and GRH static hold. So the reason I kind of wanted to like just briefly kind of go over all those movements, because if you guys notice, 4 out of 5 of those days are all like full body style days. If we look at it from the standpoint of like you know, body part splits, right? They're all like 4 of the 5 days are full body. Pretty much every single one of the days, except for tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday's like a hypertrophy upper body accessory work kind of focus day, but all the other days are pretty much full body days. And the reason I kind of want to address this is because a lot of you, especially my newer subs, probably found me through like my full body videos. I have one video which is going to be linked in the description down below, my top 7 reasons to train full body, and I know that a lot of my newer subs found me through that video. But then you guys kind of see, you know, how I've been training recently over the past few months, or really this whole year, and you guys are kind of confused, like, wait, is he still doing full body? Some of his days seem like full body, some of them are not. So in the description down below, I'm also going to have the video link where I go over like body part splits versus focusing on movement patterns, because in that video I explained to you guys how, like, you know, with powerlifting, it's different than general strength training or just focusing on hypertrophy. Yes, of course, I still want to get stronger on my accessory movements and my movements outside of the big three, because that's going to help me be stronger on the big three. And yes, I do want to, in my off seasons, focus on building more muscle mass, focus on hypertrophy, because more muscle means I can produce more force, which is going to help me on the big three. But it's just not the same thing as being truly 100% focused on general strength training on a variety of movements. And I'll also have that link in the description down below, my video over the difference between general strength training and powerlifting. And it's not the same thing as purely focusing on training like to maximize hypertrophy. It's simply not, because there's going to be like, even though they're connected, there's give and take with both of those. And my answer to you guys is pretty much that like who keep asking like, hey, do I still think full body is optimal? Do I still think it's like the best way to train for someone who's trying to like really focus on like maximizing their hypertrophy? And the answer, guys, is still yes, for the 7 reasons, that I put in that video that you guys can check it out. But like, just to name a few, because you're getting more frequency, which is very important for natural lifters as far as keeping that protein synthesis elevated, because you're getting more total weekly workload, because you're able to practice the movements you want to get better at more consistently, which is going to help you get stronger on them at a faster rate and therefore put on more muscle mass at a faster rate. Yes, I still think that that's optimal, but it's just different with powerlifting because it's not about splitting up the body parts, it's about splitting up how I train my volume on the big three. So for example, with the way I've been training like this past year on my church area day, like that fit training day of the week, I would have things like, I'd have squat, bench, and then like some accessory movements. So those days look like a full body day. If I have a day though where it's like, focus on deadlifts and squats, then that's just gonna look more like a lower body day. If I have a day that's just like focused on the bench press and then upper body accessory work, that's gonna look more like an upper body day. But it's not so much like, upper, lower, full body. It's, hey, squat and deadlift focus, or bench and squat focus, or in this case, what you guys are gonna see a lot of is like squat, bench, and deadlift focus, or hey, we mainly focus heavy on the squat and the bench, but then we have some back exercise work as well. So you guys are going to see that quite a bit of my work in this off season is structured more like in a full body sense, but it's not just for the sake of it being full body. It's more so, once again, just focusing on that total frequency and volume on the bench, squat, and deadlift, or variations of those movements. So I just want to try to like clear that up one more time to let you guys know, like, it's not that like, oh, the SBD changed his mind about full body. No, but it's the fact that I'm training for powerlifting. That's different. The way I'm going to go about my days is different. It's not about focusing on specific body parts. It's about focusing on specific movements. So I just wanted to make that clear, as well as let you guys know that what I am going to be doing for you all, after I show you like the videos for each of these days, which will kind of already show you what kind of, I guess, full body structure can kind of look like in powerlifting, is I'm going to be giving you guys like general templates, giving you like the how and why to set up, full body for like, a beginner, and give you guys like a free template for that. For the intermediate lifter, give you a free template for that. Full body for somebody who wants to still focus more like on bodybuilding, where, hey, you're hitting full body, but maybe you have like muscle specializations for each day, or movement specializations for each day. I'm going to be showing you guys like, how to set up full body for somebody who is a powerlifter, who maybe you want to transition into like, hey, I only have this many days of the week to train. I want to do full body, but I still want to kind of get into powerlifting. I'm going to be doing a video for all of those guys after I show you like each kind of training day on my current block. That's what the next a bit of important videos are going to be, going over things like that. And then in the description box, like, I'll have like, just the general setup for it for those of you who want it. And of course, if you guys want more like, specific programming, training, all that kind of stuff, you guys already know that I offer the coaching. All that's in the description down below. I don't ever feel the need to like just put that out there all the time. It's there for those of you who want it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to cover for right now. Let's go ahead, quit talking, head to the gym, get this day one workout in. Alright guys, hopping in for a voiceover to finish off this video and kind of just take you through this workout and this day as a whole. Now, you guys already know that Tuesdays are usually my volume / variation focused squat and deadlift day, and that's pretty much the same, except for now it's my volume focused day for the squat, bench, and deadlift, which makes a lot of sense, seeing as my Saturdays are now intensity focused days for the squat, bench, and deadlift. Now, you guys just saw little quick clips of the build up sets, because what I have to do is do build up sets of 6 all the way to my top set of 6. I didn't show like every build up set of 6. I just clipped it in the way that I did to save time. But that's what I did. I built up starting with 220 pounds, then 275, then 315, and then I finished off with 313 for my top set of 6 at RP6. Now, this might have been a little bit undershot, actually. It may have been closer to an RP5, but my first day back into it, I'm focusing more on just getting quality sets, quality reps, with good form, really focusing on external rotation of my shoulders, as well as just cueing back extension. Those are my biggest weaknesses pretty much on all the lists, especially like the squat and the deadlift, it's just like that I'm naturally kyphotic, so that flexion. So now I'm really focusing on fighting against that right now to stay in a more optimal position for my squat. So after building up to a top set of 6, I then have back down sets of 7, and that's going to be the same thing for the sumo deadlift as well as the Larson press. So this day is all about like, volume, like lots of build up sets and then higher rep back down sets. So what you guys are going to notice with my sumo deadlift as well is that once again, I'm really trying to focus on externally rotating those shoulders and really getting my back more extended. Because for me, if I focus more on extension, it's going to get my back in a neutral position because I'm naturally kyphotic. If somebody was already in a natural, more neutral position, then trying to overextend could possibly be detrimental for their form positioning. But for me, it works out really well since I naturally want around. Like I said, if I focus more on really trying to extend my lower back and externally rotate my shoulders, keep that upper back tight, it just gets me in a nice, strong, neutral position. So that's really what I'm trying to work on here. And this all felt pretty good. Top set was with 413 pounds. And then my back down sets, I believe, were with like 300 and I think they're supposed to be 370 pounds, but I actually went with 375 just because I didn't feel like going through taking like the red off and then adding all the correct kilos for it. But yeah, 375 pounds is what I did my back down sets with. And even though sumo is technically my variation work, like I told you guys before a few videos ago, we're really gonna start pushing my sumo to see if we may end up going with that over my conventional, just because it's a lot easier for me to get in position for it than the conventional, just due to my leverages. So we'll see if it ends up getting stronger and passing up my conventional deadlift. And then after that, you guys are gonna see that we have Larson press, or pretty much just feet up bench press. I actually thought this was going to be a lot harder. Granted, I didn't go that heavy. I just went up to a top set of 6 RP6. I think my top set was with like 242 pounds. But due to the fact that I just don't have a crazy arch to begin with, and I don't really utilize leg drive as much as I really could to begin with anyway, this actually came pretty easy to me and came pretty naturally to me. Like I didn't feel unstable or unbalanced. It pretty much felt, just about like my normal bench press, just minus having a little bit of extra leg drive. And like I said, everything I did, even though it's supposed to be RP6, may have been closer to like RP5s, but once again, just easing back into it. It's been a while since I've had to gauge higher rep sets, even though I'm really good at gauging my body. It's just gonna take me a few sessions to get back used to gauging higher rep sets, and once I do, then I can really start pushing to be like, as exact and true to the RP as possible without overshooting or undershooting. But yeah, same thing with the Larson press, worked up to a top set of 6 and then back down sets of 7. Now I kind of eased into everything with this, just I had like, 1 back down set of 7 for the sumos and then 2 back down sets of 7 for the squat and the bench. But those back down sets will be going up to like, sets of 3s and 4s in the coming weeks. This is just kind of like, transitioning me into things like I talked to you guys about at the beginning of the video, not going too hard too quickly and just kind of easing back into the volume work. And then to finish off, guys, I had 2 sets of 8 with Romanian deadlifts. Nas is over here being extra childish, but my focus here, guys, is one, just getting a little bit of additional volume in on the muscles involved, the glutes and the hamstrings, but I'm mainly cueing back neutrality. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get as low as I can while keeping my back neutral. And I'm basically almost coming quite all the way to the floor. On one, I actually think I do touch the floor, but then I lost a little bit of tightness in my back. So I just started coming to about maybe like an inch away from touching the floor, and that's what I was focused on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below, let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below, let me know what I can do better. Like the video, share, subscribe, keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.